In all these operations, UPDF did not lose a single soldier by enemy action. The 2 soldiers who died, Private Ruging Nicholas and Private Kapuriaka Mustafa by names, died on account of self-inflicted accidental self-injury. One on account of an RPG that was loaded and cocked, and he fell with it in a pit, and it blew him up. Then another one from multiple grenade launchers, fired while in the middle of trees. They hit the trees and then came back and killed him. They had not been thoroughly briefed about these weapons, using them, especially in a forest area. The terrorists are now fleeing and killing villagers. That will not save them. If the Congolese government allows us, we shall hit them, even if they go up to Kisangani or Buta or beyond. Their only choice is to surrender, so that the peoples of Congo and Uganda have peace, and they also get these terrorists also get rehabilitated and learn how to earn an honest living in the 4 sectors of commercial agriculture, small industries, services, and ICT, instead of being parasites on the population. Similarly, the numerous security problems in other parts of Africa can be resolved by the different chapters of the African Patriots cooperating. The respective chapters of African Patriots have developed great capacity, much more than the situation in 1974, when the African armies of Mozambique, Angola, and Guinea-Bissau defeated the Portuguese imperialists. I have heard some voices among the Muslims claiming that the Muslims are neglected and that they cannot borrow money because of riba, profit or interest, which is haram, a chagaru among the Muslims. The first point is certainly not true. Who built the Islamic University in Uganda? Who liberalized the trade, taking government out of trading and the hotel business, where many Muslims businessmen have benefited? How did the successful Muslims come up? It is on account of the peace and policies brought by the NRM. The story of riba is only half of the story. Yes, Islamic banking has been legalized but not yet operationalized. However, many of the pro-poor government programs are not loans, but grants. Government okuwa obui. Operation Wealth Creation distribution of free seedlings. My natural skilling programs and grants for capital for shoemaking, tailoring, weaving, etc., managed by my Muslim daughter Farida Mayanja, are not loans, but grants. Where is the riba in there? I have checked on my XOSI programs of Narwanga, and I have found that quite a number of Muslims in the Kajumiro area benefited from my grants of seedlings, of goats, maybe not pigs, because Muslims don't want pigs, heifers, etc., Kalnokovir, and others, and see the tragedy that was being played out among our people by these confused actors claiming to be working for God. Of course, the original mistake was the failure of our own people, Mwanga, Aporokagwa, Ntare, Mbaguta, Kawarega, etc., who failed to unite and chase these confused actors. Anyway, this unhealthy rivalry and principled conflicts went on up to the time of independence and beyond. It is the NRM that came to challenge them. Earlier actors like I.K. Musazi tried unsuccessfully to unite Ugandans. We are glad that the Ugandans listened to our message and rallied to the standard of the NRM for the last 43 years, starting with 1978, during the Anti-Amin War, when we were recruiting youth in Karagwe and Western Uganda, up to today, uniting around the principles of patriotism, love Uganda, Moyogwa Uganda, love Africa, Pan-Africanism, Moyogwa Africa, socio-economic transformation, building a first world society away from the pre-capitalist society we inherited in 1986, and democracy, which means government by the people, for the people, and of the people. As a consequence of this unity, the economy has grown, the infrastructure has expanded, the population has increased, more people are educated, the children are dying less, people are living longer, some families are richer, everybody has got a telephone or more in his pocket, etc., etc. It is this unity, partial prosperity, and general progress that these confused parasites are fighting. Such groups working for or with foreigners or taking advantage of some situations are sowing mayhem in the different parts of Africa, in Mali, Niger, Burkina Faso, Nigeria, Central African Republic, Chad, DRC, Mozambique, Somalia, etc. This is the context in which the criminal acts of the ADF terrorists find themselves in eastern Congo and their acts in Uganda. What these traitors forget is that the African Revolution, led by new actors, patriots, and not the traditional chiefs that failed to guarantee our independence from the imperialists, has been in motion since 1912, when the African National Congress of South Africa was founded in the town of Bloemfontein of South Africa. By the 1950s and 1960s, the African resistance had created additional chapters for the first one, to the first one of the ANC in South Africa. We should, of course, not forget the Afro-American chapter, led by people like Du Bois and Marcus Garvey, who started the idea of Pan-Africanism, of Pan-African movement. By the 1950s and 1960s, the different chapters of the African resistance were being led by people like Nkrumah, Nyerere, Kaunda, Kenyatta, Sékou Touré, Modibo Keita, Ben Bella, Gamal Abdel Nasser, etc. The Pan-African movement, being part of the global anti-colonial movement, caused the clever imperialists to peacefully withdraw from Africa by granting independence to 36 African states by 1963, when the newly independent African countries met in Addis Ababa to form the Organization of African Unity. The unclever imperialists, such as the Portuguese, Ian Smith, and the South African Boers, thought that they could block the march of African freedom. The various chapters of African patriots moved the Organization of African Unity